This feels so good. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I thought I would create a mural with liquid wallpaper, also known as silk plaster, and I'd also show you how to use it, even though I've never used it before. But I've done some research and it actually looks really fun, and I just hope it's easier than normal wallpaper. I think that's the whole point. Normal wallpaper's a right pain in the ass. Okay, so this is the raw silk plaster or the liquid wallpaper, and I bought 4 bags, so I've got a light green, a red, a blue, and a yellow one, because I want to create a floral mural, but I need to prepare all of these first and leave them for a day before I can actually use it. So that's one thing to keep in mind if you want to use liquid wallpaper. Also, just a quick note, I bought my liquid wallpaper from Silk Plaster and I bought it on eBay, but I did attempt to buy some other liquid wallpaper from a company called Silkotex. Do not buy your liquid paper from that company, it's a complete scam. I got scammed out of my money. Fortunately, I was able to ring the bank and get my money back. Waste of time, they'll just take your money and they won't send you the product. But this company, I bought it on eBay and within 2 or 3 days it arrived, so well done. You didn't scam us. I want to prepare 5 different batches because with one of them I'm going to try and add paint to it to darken it a little bit, because I didn't realise how light this green is and I need this green to be a little bit darker for a certain part of my mural. But we'll see how it goes. It might be a complete mistake to add paint to it, and if it is, then at least you know not to do that. Okay, so we'll start with 1 batch of the green first, and I only want to mix half of this. I don't want the entire thing. And also, if you want any instructions on measurements or quantities or anything, it's all written on the back, but I've calculated it and I think my calculations are right and I should be doing this right. If you believe that, then you'll believe anything. It almost feels like wool. There's little bits of white in there. It's very light and fluffy and I'm kind of into it. So with my calculations, I need to add 2.5 litres of water to this stuff. Okay, done. And then you just get your hands in and just mix it all together. This feels so nice. Like it just turns into this like sloppy paper stuff. That's a bit of ASMR for you. Listen to this. Was that good? I hate ASMR, so I'm sorry. This feels so good. Okay, so I just need to leave that. It's fully mixed. Looks a bit like that. I'll cover it with a bit of plastic and then that should give it enough time for all the water to soak into the paper, ready to be used. That's what I've read. So I'm just going to mix up some more batches of the stuff. Also, I think this liquid paper has a glue already inside it, like a dried glue, because your hands get a little bit sticky. So there must be some sort of like dried paste in there, similar to obviously like a wallpaper paste, because yeah, my hands felt a little bit gooey. So for the blue, I'm doing exactly the same quantities as I did with the green. And as you can see with this one as well, there isn't as many like little white flecks in it because different liquid wallpapers have different fibres and different stuff added into them. So you've got loads of different textures and colours and stuff. Okay, and that's the blue one mixed. That's so much fun, seriously. You need to get your hands in here and just have a good squelch. Okay, and this batch is the one that I'm going to add some paint to. I'm also not sure whether you have to be super accurate with the measurements for this stuff. As long as you don't add too much or too little, I think it'll be alright. Right, now let's see what's going to happen if I add some acrylic paint to it. I want quite a bit because I want it to be dark. Hopefully this isn't a mistake, but I don't think it will be. There we go, that's looking way more green than it did before. Exactly what I wanted. Okay, so the red one, I want a 1/4 of a bag of this. Oh, got it absolutely everywhere. The thing is with this stuff, once it's done the next day, if you need to add more water, you can. I'd rather have too little water than too much water. I think that's kind of the rule. But how nice is that colour? That's a pretty rich red. Okay, and because this red's going to be one of my flowers, I want to add some glitter to it. And I want a lot of glitter. I really want to see it. Oh, that just made it 10 times better. Can you see that sparkle? I don't know whether you can. In person you can, it looks great. Okay, I want to do exactly the same with the yellow as what I did to the red. Okay, and I'm going to put some fine glitter in this one. I think I'm just going to use the full thing. Why not? Okay, that glitter is way more subtle than the last one. You can see it though. That's quite nice. So I think that one's done as well. I'm going to put all these to one side, cover them with some plastic so they don't dry out, and then I'll meet you back here tomorrow, and then hopefully we can start making our mural. It should be fine. I think I've done everything right. It's just paper and then you add water to it. What could go wrong? Okay, so it's finally time to make my liquid wallpaper mural, and I'm going to sketch it out first just so I know what I'm doing. And if you can see, it's my original old tabletop. Because I didn't get rid of it, I was going to keep it because I knew it would come in handy at some point. And it did. So for this mural, I want to do quite a basic, simple, floral garden sky design. I think that'll be the easiest to do, and I'm going to keep it easy because I've never worked with this medium before, so I don't know how intricate these designs can actually be with it. But I still think it's going to look good. Even though it's simple, I think it'll be quite nice. Okay, that looks very, very basic. And the reason I'm doing a mural on a tabletop and not putting the liquid wallpaper on my walls, which is what it's intended for, is because I don't want to ruin my walls. Just on the off chance that this all goes wrong, I don't want crap stuck to my wall that I might potentially not be able to get off. So I thought it would be better to stick to a tabletop. And I think you can use liquid wallpaper, obviously for walls, but you can use it for like MDF, wood, and all that kind of other stuff. So you don't have to be stuck to walls. Also, I read that if you're applying liquid wallpaper, your surface has to be clean, which this is. It might not look it, but it is clean. But it can be applied over paint, so that should be fine. I shouldn't have any issues. And the good thing about it is obviously I've got lumps of resin and paint on here and stuff, and the liquid wallpaper is just going to even everything out. And it's quite a textured material as well. I think it's going to look good. I am definitely pushing it to what I think it can actually do. But that's the fun of it all, isn't it? Okay, so this is what the liquid wallpaper looks like after a day. And it's still basically how I left it last time. Very wet. Very moist. I don't know how watery it's supposed to be, so I think I'm going to start applying this with just a regular plastic trowel, and if I feel like it's too thick and not watery enough, then I've read the instructions and apparently I can add more water to make it more liquidy. It's just trial and error really. Just slop some on and we'll see how it goes. And you only want it to be a certain thickness as well. Can't remember how thick it's supposed to be. So this top part's blue. Oh. Well, I know for a fact that's too thick. It's 100% too thick. It's supposed to be like water. I'm going to add some more water to this because that's not right. I can't tell how thin it's supposed to be. I think that'll be alright. I want to just use my hands, you know. I think using a trowel is going to bother us. I think I'll use my hands and then use the trowel to just even it out and flatten it down. I don't know whether I'm supposed to, but that's what I'm going to do. I think if you were doing it with a wall, it would be easy to do with the trowel, but I think my hands are going to be the best way. This is quite intricate. This is such a fun material to work with. Yeah, I think because obviously I'm doing a mural and I want it to be quite arty and a little bit more creative and fun, I don't mind if it's not perfectly smooth. Whereas I've seen pictures of other people's projects where they've wallpapered the house with this liquid wallpaper and they want it perfectly smooth, perfectly finished. I suppose you would use a different application if that's what you wanted. You would use your little trowel thing. And it almost reminds me of when I made my homemade paper, which was a massive ball ache. No, it took me so long to make this. It kind of reminds us of that. Okay, so I've just got all that blue on, and so far I have to say this material is so much fun to work with. It's almost like paper mache for adults. It's also quite forgiving, so unlike wallpaper and stuff, if you stick it down, you can just scoop it back up while it's wet and slop it down somewhere else. I think I might have potentially added mine a little bit on the thick side. I don't think you're supposed to put it on this thick, so we'll see how that holds up later on. But so far, I am into it, and definitely just get your hands in. Okay, now I want to work on this bottom part, which is the green part, which is to symbolize grass. And I'm just going to use my hands again. I've also got you in for a different angle, so hopefully you can see a little bit more. Okay, and now the final step is to just create my flowers, and then I think I should be done. took me a good couple of hours. It took a long time. I will say it's very, very difficult to be quite intricate and get fine lines with liquid wallpaper. As you can see from the stems of these flowers, I really struggled with them. But other than that, I'm liking it. I think it's very colourful. I'll be very interested to see what this looks like when it's dry, whether all the colours stay the same, and whether it's actually going to adhere to my tabletop, and just to feel what it feels like once it's dry. I've had a fun day. I've really enjoyed myself. So yeah, hopefully I'll see you tomorrow if this does dry. I have laid it on very thick, so it might take longer, but who knows? I'll see you when I see you. Well, that took a little bit longer than I thought it was going to dry. Although it's a week later, I think this took about 3 full days to fully dry. And that was having a fan on it, and then once it got kind of dry, I put it in the sun. I think without that, it would probably still be damp. But I think it looks pretty much the same as what it did when I left it, when it was still wet. The colours are still the same. I did flatten it down a bit and touch it up as it was drying, so it might look a little bit smoother than it did before. The glitters have worked quite well. The finer glitter is a little bit harder to see, but you can see it in person. You just won't be able to see it on camera. And the feel of it is a bit crispy, but also a little bit spongy at the same time. It's got some bounce to it. But there we have it. There's my full liquid wallpaper mural in all its glory, fully dry. And I think I've done an alright job. I think now that I've got a bit of experience with liquid wallpaper, I think if I was to do another one, I could do it way better and create a little bit more of an interesting design. Because it is pretty primitive. It's very basic. But you could always go in and draw on it and paint on it and stuff. You could definitely include liquid wallpaper into a collage or something like that. I don't think it has to be just for the walls. And it's quite strong as well. Like, I reckon I could pick it all off if I wanted to, but I don't want to. This took me days to make. They almost look like little lollipop sticks, don't they? Instead of flowers. I don't think anyone would think these were flowers. And now I guess I just need to find somewhere to put it. It'll go somewhere. I'll put it at the back. Not the back of here. Back of the camera. But that just about does it for today's video of making a mural out of liquid wallpaper. Definitely let me know in the comments if you've ever used it before and whether you had any disasters or did it go well. Did you add glitter? Did you add paint? Were you very experimental with it, or did you just slop it on the walls? If you did enjoy today's video, then make sure to give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you next week for a brand new video.